It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we're on a mission. And our mission is to empower. Our mission is to inspire. And our mission is to provide you, that's right, you, the entrepreneur, with the resources that are necessary to execute that vision you have deep, 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 deep inside of you for the people you were called to serve. And on this episode, we have the one and only Brianna, who's here in the building to talk about look, she's jumping in. Hey, I see you. She see me. And then y'all, look, let's just jump into it. She'll be talking today about building a personal brand online. Now, I've got to ask her the question, it's just top of my tongue. Why are entrepreneurs, are people struggling in these days with building a brand online when there's YouTube videos, there's Google out there, there's Facebook, there's a lot of information about it, but yet they still struggle. So what's the biggest problem facing people today? Having a personal brand.
Yeah, so thank you so much for your show. I appreciate it. And that question is so hard to answer. It's not like overall, I feel like majority of people have issues with building a strong personal brand because honestly, there's information overload. Just like you said, everywhere you look, everywhere you turn, there's information about branding and marketing. And if you don't know how to dissect the fluff from the real, sometimes you're just going to be overwhelmed and just do the wrong thing, right? So a lot of people, it's just a matter of them not knowing, which is pure ignorance. Now, there are some people who do know better and still don't do better. And I want to address that as well. A lot of times people think that copying another person, another person's method, mimicking other people will help them create a stronger brand, and that's not true. And unfortunately, that's just what social media has done. It's made a lot of duplicates out here, right? Just because you see something work for me doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. And I think a lot of us have kind of lost, unfortunately. And so when you don't know who you are, there's no way you can really truly build a strong personal brand. There's going to be things that's going to hit your house and it's going to knock it down, right? You don't have a strong foundation. So that's why I am really, 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 really an advocate for starting with you and knowing who you are before you start trying to build a brand and get out there. Because what's going to happen is if you don't know who you are, then you're going to lose yourself. Because, I mean, there's a lot of people out here who, are saying, hey, I made $1 million this week, come follow me. But if you don't have that moral, that gut, that foundation built, then you're just gonna fly and do this, be doing what's trending. One day you're doing Forex, next day you're doing, so it's just, I feel like honestly we need to just kind of reel it on in, reel it back, and find out who we truly are as an individual before we start going out here and trying to build our personal brands.
Now, you can't leave us on the edge. You can't leave us hanging. There are folks out there saying, she keeps saying, you got to know who you are. You got to know who you are. You got to know who you are. And it doesn't matter what age they are. I mean, after 20, 30, 40, 50, or 60, they might still be asking the question, and I'm still trying to figure out who I am, to be honest with you as well. Like who am I, and what is this brand supposed to be? So it's a challenging question, but I know you can handle it. Two parts. Number one, how does someone, what's 2 or 3 steps, maybe, I don't know, someone can go through to try to identify maybe who they are for where they are in this moment in time, right? Because it may change. And then on the other side, you have to give us your definition of branding, because it means a lot of things to a lot of people. And I'm thinking maybe it's a logo. I'm thinking maybe it's some colors. I don't even know. So 2-part question. Number one, how can we determine, what it is that we're supposed to do in life, if that's possible? And then number 2, what in the LL Cool J is a brand these days?
I am so glad that you asked that question, because this is actually what I like to do and talk about, because life is a journey every day, right? we may get up and feel one way, and then the next day we may feel another. And it's not that we are not being who we are, right? So you're correct. We're going to always evolve and change as a person and as a people. But there are characteristics that don't. So when I say find who you are, I mean, what is that thing that you would never waver on? What is that belief? Are you a person who, believe in being, having integrity, right? Are you a person who believes in maybe helping people first before yourself? Like, so there's a lot of things as far as characteristic wise that I want people to dive into and finding out who they are. Why do they want to do what they want to do? Because what's going to happen is entrepreneur is going to get to entrepreneuring. It's going to get hard. And so when you kind of have something to fall back on as to who I am, why I'm doing what I'm doing, that's what's going to keep you going. For me, some things that I do to constantly remind myself and get back into, feeling good if I'm feeling cruddy or not feeling like, okay, am I doing this? It's just like, I listen to myself. Like, I feel like it's so much noise and chaos out here right now. If we would just sit sometimes and meditate, pray, and listen to our guts, our spirit, that's going to give us the answer if it should be something we should or should not be pursuing. Outside of that, you want to make sure your circle is clean. I believe that we have angels on this earth, and they're God sent. But we also have people in our circles that sometimes pollute our inner circle, and then it makes angels not come. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes we get in our own ways. So one, we have to meditate. We have to listen to ourselves, listen to our spirit. Two, you got to make sure your circle is A1, is thorough. The people are really there for you. Because honestly, that can stop us. A lot of us, it's not us that's stopping us, it's the people around us, and we don't realize that. So that's one thing that you can do to kind of help focus on finding who you are. What makes your soul set on fire. Like for me, I love when I see something that I've created, like a website or a billboard, or I'm a life insurance broker. So unfortunately, someone may pass, but hey, I've seen families move out of government housing into $250,000 homes who maybe wouldn't have had that opportunity. So anytime I see something that manifested and it was because maybe I started it, like for me, that sets my soul on fire. So that's me, on my journey and finding out who I am and what I like to do. So if you do something, if you could do it for free, that's a good sign, right? If you have passion in the heart and you can do it for free, not saying you should, but that's a good sign. Maybe this is something that you should be doing. Maybe this is the part of your calling. Money is gonna come. Money will come. I know that for a fact. If you are following your passion, if you're doing what you're called to do, and that's my philosophy on finding yourself. It's not one, it's multifaceted, right? And then the second part of your question is, what is a brand?
Yes.
A brand.
What does a brand mean? Yes.
Yes. So it's basically how you make other people feel about you. That's what I think a branding is. Branding is how others feel about you or your business or your organization. So branding is not a logo. It's not, choosing your colors. That's one part of branding, right? How I talk to people is a part of my brand. How I communicate via email is a part of my brand. It's your reputation ultimately. And so when you think about branding, it's not one thing. It's not this pretty logo. No, it's how I talk. All of that is what makes my brand, if it makes sense.
You answered that so well. Thanks for sharing and giving us your view of the world. For those folks that are tuning in and I like what I hear them say. I know you're going to get into who she is, and they're reading your bio below, and they've already Googling you, and we're going to ask her how she came up with the name AutumnSkye Productions. We'll get to that in a moment. But How can folks best connect with you? And it's really a two-part question. Number one, what type of clients, if your firm's taking on any now, do you work with? And what challenges do they have? And number two, how can individuals or organizations best connect with you?
Yes. So AutumnSkye Productions, we are a business-to-business organization, meaning we work with other business owners, corporations, government entities. We work with people who are needing help with social media, with their branding, and with their marketing. So on a day-to-day, we may have a client that may call us, and maybe they need someone to run their social media accounts. Sometimes we have clients who call us and they may need a landing page put up for a new event that they have going on. A lot of our clients are newer, maybe first time business owner or small business owner. So a lot of times I deal with a lot of people who look just like me, who maybe have passion, have a talent, but just don't have a lot of business etiquette. And so that's a big part of my day to day is consulting, right? I'm talking to people all day long because I know personally I've been in my own business since like 13 years now. And I know how hard it can be, and I know the mental, right, capacity and the health. And that's something I feel like we don't talk about enough. So whenever people come to me, a lot of them are going to say, Brianna, I called you just to talk about this, but we ended up, and it's good because I want you to really, really understand. You can't just be out here saying you want to do things and not really understand what's required of you. It's not easy. It's super rewarding. It's fun. I love it, right? But I like to be honest. There are some very tough times, and that's when your mental health and things like that, you must make sure you check. Just like you go work out, you need to make sure that you work out your mental health as well. So
Where
that's
does this fire and passion come from? I'm listening to you. I'm hearing you. It's like, whoa. I mean, you just like, this is what I do. This is what I'm called to do. I'm all in, Shay, on this. Give us the backstory. They'll read the bio. I get it. But some folks may not have the bio in front of them. But tell us a little bit about two parts. One, what's the backstory that led you to where you are now? And what was that pivotal moment that you said, you know what? I'm all in. I'm pushing all the chips on the table in the middle. I'm betting on me, and I'm all in.
yes.
Full time. And the reason I want that question is some of our audience, probably 70% are dualpreneurs. So these are folks who take care of their family, get the kids up and going, get the wife going, or get the husband going. They have something going on in the community. They work a full-time job. Then they have a full-time business, and then they're in the community. They're like, whoa, at some point, I want to get all in. So what's her backstory, Shay? Because I'm listening to her, so I want to know how she got here. But more importantly, when did she decide to make that leap and say, I'm in this full time? Because that's a big deal. It really is.
Yes, yes, it is. Oh wow, I love these questions. So, my backstory. I came from. I'm the youngest of five, and my mother and father. We live in Nashville, Tennessee. And when we came to Nashville, I was only 2 years old, and it was me, my other siblings, my mom and dad, and we were in a little station wagon coming from Wilson, North Carolina. So we were driving into Tennessee, and everything that we had on our station wagon fell off. So we came to Nashville with absolutely nothing, meaning no clothes, anything. My father, he had a job lined up, but it didn't go through. So long story short, when we first moved here, we lived in a one-bedroom shack. Um, and it was right across the street from my high school. My dad is actually the football announcer. He has been for over 20, 30 years now at a local high school, and that's where he got his first job, working across the street at the high school. And when I say it came from nothing, and to see my father persevere, he started his own moving company. And he's a staple in the community now. I've seen him, he blesses every home that he moves. Now my brother is the manager, so he kind of sits back. My father does, but he still goes in every home and blesses the homes. And I'm telling you this story because this is what I've seen growing up. My mom, she's a Baha'i, and my father is a Christian. And I'm telling you this because I want you guys to know that I grew up in a very diverse background. Majority of my time, I grew up around Persians and Arabs and praised a guy named Baha'u'llah when my friends praised Jesus. So when I went home with dad, you know, I'm at church. So I grew up in this environment knowing that, hey, there's more. There's more than what I see in my community, right? Um, Long story short, I grew up, I went to high school, went to college, went to UT Knoxville, go Vols, any volunteers. And I wanted to be a news producer, a news reporter. I worked the camera, I worked at a news channel, and then I graduated college. And the same day I graduated college, I found out I was pregnant. And this is super important because this is literally the reason why I'm here and doing what I'm doing now. I found out I was pregnant the day I graduated college, and I was one of those people who did not want kids. I had a job offer in Dallas. So I had to repivot. I ended up working here locally at Channel 4 as a news producer, and I had my baby. And her name is AutumnSkye. AutumnSkye was born, and she was born with a blood disorder called sickle cell. It changed my life. I've never heard about sickle cell other than T-Boz having it, and never knew how it affected our Black community. And long story short, my baby was sick. Channel 4 let me go. They said, "Hey, Bree, we love you, but we need somebody here consistently." And I get it, right? I understood. So what I did, I promise, I took that camera that I used to do my reporting with, got my EIN number, started my own company, and named it after my daughter, AutumnSkye Productions. AutumnSkye Productions started off as a videography and photography company. We did that for years. When COVID came, the events stopped. I had to pivot. That's when I decided, you know what? We're gonna make this company not just a photography and videography. I've done videos for Young Dolph. I've done weddings. I've done, I was in clubs. I didn't have a niche, right? I was all over the place prior. But when COVID came, it was a blessing to me because it set me down and I found my niche. Business owners. Let's take this graphic design. Let's take this web design. Let's sit behind the computer and change lives. And that's what I've been doing ever since 2020. It's focused on nothing but web design, graphic design for business owners. So I was forced into this. I didn't ask for this. Yes, entrepreneurship has been in my blood. I've seen my dad do it and work hard, and that's kind of how I have the tenacity for people. I love people, right? And I think that's really what it is. Ultimately, it's not that I love doing websites. It's not that I love building logos. I love people. So if I can find a way to help people, then that's what I'm going to do. I had a lady tell me yesterday, she was like, "Girl, you're like," and this is no offense, but she was like, "Girl, you're like a Mexican out here. You do everything, I mean, and I feel that way because I do. I'm here. What? You need a business plan? What? So long story short, that's how I got here. I was forced here. As far as when I went all in, so it's been a roller coaster. I've had a few full-time jobs throughout this journey. I have not always been a full-time entrepreneur. And again, I was forced into this.
Yeah.
I had a full-time job. They fired me because they seen that I had my own business. They seen that I was doing things on their clock, and they fired me. So again, God let me know over and over and over again, Brianna, you are meant to do this. So I tried to go back, and that's fine if you do go back to working a full-time job, because I'm all about my peace. I was too busy trying to chase the money, and it wasn't becoming fun to me. So that's when I got a job, right? So you also listen to yourself and find your peace. But I just keep getting reminded. I keep getting fired. I keep getting fired. So that's why I'm a full-time entrepreneur, because no one wants to hire me as an employee.
Well, the good news is you are now creating your own platform. You're making a huge difference in the world. You're also a collaborator. And I want you to talk about just the power of collaborations. One of my 12 rules for life is that collaboration crushes competition. And we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for someone by the name of Tiffany Williams, who kind of connected us. It's my first time meeting you. I had a chance to see your stuff online and social media. I'm like, whoa, I mean, this is someone that the community can benefit from. And so here's the question. Some folks say, if I don't want to work with them because I want to hold what I got to myself. And then there's other folks that are willing to share. Talk about just the power of collaboration and what you look for yourself when you're looking to collaborate with someone. Like you said, you might not be doing the logo. You might have to collaborate. You might not be doing the website. You got to collaborate. You might not be doing the photography and the film. You got to collaborate. Two-part question. Power collaboration, and what do you look for in collaborative partnerships?
Yes. I told you I was deep, right? So when you said collaboration, I'm just like, oh my gosh. We were put on this earth for each other. Forget business right now. We were put on this earth for one another. To cry, to feed, to grow, to bounce ideas off of, to laugh with. You can't go out there and play by yourself. We were literally meant for each other. And when you sit and you think about that, and just in every day, when you have a business and you collaborate, one, you ain't gotta work as hard. It's a beautiful thing, and it's mandatory. I will collaborate with anyone who I feel can bring me benefits, and I can do the same for them. Yesterday, I collaborated with a gentleman, and he literally does the exact same thing that I do. He actually, not he, but some people was like, what? You're going to reach out to them? Aren't they your competition? And I just don't see it that way. But I'm going to be honest with you, it's going to take a lot of deep, like people, like the crab in the bucket mentality. This is a deep rooted issue. So it's not something I feel like this is going to be some people have to go through, just do some deep searching as to why their mentality is set up to be like, we can't work together, or you're going to overpower me, or you're going to throw me out, because collaboration is mandatory. What I look for when I am, wanting to collaborate, I just want to see people win. Literally, I had a meeting today. It started at 11:30. It was supposed to be on my calendar to 2. I didn't leave the girl until 4. And literally, we were just brainstorming on ways that we could help one another, whether it's bartering, and that's something that a lot of people don't do, or they frown upon. And that's something that I am an advocate for, is we need to learn how to barter with one another more often, and have an actual bartering system set up, right? Meaning, sometimes we may not have the finances, but we have, the intelligence or the know-how or the skills to help another business. So that's another way that you can collaborate and you guys can still maximize and grow, and you ain't have to pay the fee. I am an advocate for collaboration, you guys. One, two minds are always better than one. And one, I just know resources, right? You may know someone that I don't. I may know someone that you don't. I mean, it's just, and it's easier. It just makes sense. You can't. I posted a meme yesterday, and it says something like, you can't chase your dream alone, or you can't complete your dream, or something like that alone. I need you. You, right? In order for this podcast and for your venture to be as successful as it is, you needed people. And in order for people to maybe have gotten some of the business and connections that they have gotten, they needed you and your platform. And it's okay. You're happy, I'm happy, we collaborated, boom. Right? I think people overcomplicate things. And then last thing I will say, is that a lot of us have been hurt. A lot of us have been hurt. And so a lot of us come from a place sometimes of, just being defensive because we've been through so much as a people. One. So I just feel like, that's why I say it's deep rooted. It's a deep rooted question. But I do feel like that Once you let go and let God, even, you know, you're going to still have bad partnerships. It's not going to be perfect, right? But just know that if you try, I feel like that you'll be better off than not.
So well said. First, tell folks again how they can best connect with you.
Yes, so I am on all social media platforms. The name of my company is AutumnSkye, and I spell sky with an E on the end, so SKYE. AutumnSkye Productions. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter. And then personally, my name is Briana Cooper on Facebook, and also on Instagram, my nickname is Push Bree, Pushbre. And I use that name because it motivates me to always keep going and to continue to push.
Never ever stop, keep growing. That leads us to a segment we have here called Today is My January 1st. That's one of our signature pieces. And for those folks that tune in daily, every night, Monday through Friday at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can go and say those words now because you're family. Today is my January 1st. For those other folks that are listening and want to know what in the LL Cool J is Shay talking about, today is my January 1st. It represents a fresh start. It represents a do-over. Today is my January 1st means your past no longer equals your future. Happy New Year to you, by the way, because today is your January 1st. Here's my question to Brianna. When you hear those words, today is my January 1st, which means they don't have to wait till December 31st at 11:59 p.m. on the back of a napkin after a couple drinks to get started. They can get started now. When you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear? And then what are your words to encourage and inspire folks? And not only got to believe it's January 1st, they got to go take action and do something about it.
Yes. This is great. Every single day that we wake up, our January. My father passed away, my biological father, in September of 2020. And when we used to talk on the phone, before he get off the phone with me, he'll always tell me, better days are coming. Better days are coming. That was his slogan. He always told me that. And that's why I'm a believer in like fresh starts and giving people multiple chances. We're all just trying to figure life out. And a lot of us are really hard on ourselves. And we are all chasing, not all, but a lot of us are in this race. It's like an imaginary race to get somewhere that no one really knows where they're going, but they're just trying to do it, right? They're never fully happy with themselves because they're always chasing something. So when you wake up every day with a different mentality of just gratitude and knowing that every day is your January 1st, meaning every day you have the chance to hit your goals. Every day you have the chance to start over, reset. Just because you said something yesterday does not mean you have to stick to it today, right? Pivot. If I haven't pivoted, right, then my company probably wouldn't be as successful as it is today. It probably would have sunk during COVID. So when I think of your January 1st, like that's every day for me. I'm waking up like, yes, thank you God for another chance, another opportunity to start over, to get things right. No one's perfect. I think optimism when I think of that. I'm a super duper optimistic person. I promise you. They'll tell you. I can get a flat and I'll say, well, maybe I missed a car wreck down the street. Like, when you think of waking up, just that one thought. Somebody didn't do it. You got a new day. You got a new chance. That's what I think.
And I love that phrase. Today is my January 1st. Today is my January 1st. Once again, thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. Tell them once again, how can they best connect with you?
Yes, you can connect with me on social media, all platforms at AutumnSkye Productions, Autumn SKYE Productions, and also my personal is Push Bree or Briana Cooper. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. We appreciate it. We know that you can always make more money, but you can't make more time. And you've given us the most precious resource you have, which is your time. With that being said, I want to thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing it out. Without you, well, there is no show. By the way, there is no show. I want you to know that you are awesome. You're already amazing, that today is your January 1st. And for you, your best is still yet to come. Isn't that cool? Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name, for those folks that might have forgot, is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And I promise you from the bottom of my heart, we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. Remember this, though. Time is long. Life, on the other hand, well, it's very, very short. So you got to live in that moment, and you got to make it count. God bless. We wish you success. Peace. Thanks a lot. See you later, Brianna. We out, y'all. Peace.